Morning, dear student. Welcomes to you in our online class. Myself Ravaliya Roshani, and today we will learn our next question. In our previous question or previous lecture, we learned about why we study literature and its definition and its discussion. I hope you all can understood it very well. Now today we will discuss about literature of power according to De Quincey. You know that literature has two parts, literature of power and literature of knowledge. So today in this lecture we will discuss about literature of power. Let's start. In wider term, the literature of power includes poems, plays, epics, stories, novels, essays, hymns, tales, odes, lyrics, etc. લિટરેચર ઓફ પાવરની અંદર કઈ વસ્તુઓનો સમાવેશ થાય છે? તો સૌ પ્રથમ આપણે એ જોવાનું છે કે લિટરેચર ઓફ પાવરની અંદર કવિતાઓ, નાટકો, મહાકાવ્યો, વાર્તાઓ, નવલકથા, નિબંધ, હાઇમ્સ એટલે કે ભજન અથવા તો સ્ત્રોત, ટેલ્સ એટલે કે વાર્તા, ઓટ્સ એટલે કે સૂરવાળું ગીત અથવા ઉર્મી ગીત, પછી લિરિક એટલે કે ઉર્મી કાવ્ય. આ દરેક વસ્તુનો સમાવેશ લિટરેચર ઓફ પાવરની અંદર થાય છે. એનો મતલબ એવો કે આપણે જે સાહિત્યના પ્રકારમાં આવે છે, વાર્તા, ટૂંકી વાર્તા, નિબંધ, આ દરેક વસ્તુઓનો સમાવેશ લિટરેચર ઓફ પાવરની અંદર થાય છે. આ ખાસ યાદ રાખજો કે આ લિટરેચર ઓફ પાવરની વ્યાખ્યા અને સમજૂતી આપણે કોના મત મુજબ અહીંયા ભણીએ છીએ? ડે ક્વિન્સી. કારણ કે લિટરેચર ઓફ પાવર અને લિટરેચર ઓફ નોલેજ વિશે રેસ નામના સાહિત્યકારે પણ પોતાના મંતવ્યો વ્યક્ત કર્યા છે. તો અહીં ખાસ યાદ રાખવું કે જે અત્યારે આપણે લિટરેચર ઓફ પાવરનો કોન્સેપ્ટ ભણી રહ્યા છીએ તે ડે ક્વિન્સીનો છે. It is based on imagination. It's all about on imagination. So it is not actual or real. It is not real or it is artificial because it's about on imagination. But it is not different from the real event of life. It is artificial, yet it is not different of life because it's a reality of life. The artistic puts the color of his imagination in the life. Whenever any writer wrote on the literature, then he puts all imagination of lives that we witness in literature. It is the proof of literature. In is thus an imaginary world with solid touch of reality, and that's why the imaginary is a strong part of the literature. The literature of power follows the certain characteristic. Here we have some characteristic of or features of literature of power. So here literature of power is centered around human life. Literature of power is around on our human life. It reveals different aspects of human nature. It's all concern about a human nature or human behavior. For instance, Shakespeare through here the view of Shakespeare, his tragedies focus on the nature of his character. Here in the Shakespearean tragedies we can show that the character of tragedies in most of his character are about on tragedies. Thus this kind of literature discuss human life, and it is proved that the literature is the most important part of human life. Its problem, its joy, sorrow and etc. Again it is true to Marlowe Marlovian plays also. Here one another literate that a Marlovian plays. He discussed the weakness of human beings. Here a Marlovian plays are describe the weakness of human being that create troubles and sorrow for them. In his plays he discuss on human's problem, human sorrow, human sadness, etc. Even the study of Indian epic Mahabharata reflects the human life. Even you all know that Ramayana and Mahabharata are the Indian epics. In that had already the human reflected in life, that's reality. It shows how Arjun faced question about life. In Mahabharata, Arjun has faced many difficult questions about life, and Lord Krishna solved the question of life with balanced mind in pragmatic manner. It is a Lord Krishna here solved the very easy manner. He explained the all questions answer of Arjun. Thus it can be said that literature of power talk about universal aspect of human life, and that's why we can say that here the literature of power is a universal, means in all world of human nature or human life. The subject matter of the literature of power is related to life only. It's very important point that for student, the subject matter means what is the main part of the literature of power, that is the literature of power is related to life only, nothing any else part. It discuss different aspect of life. Here it is discuss our life's different stages, that's like sorrow, sad, joy, all are paths discussed in literature of power. It emerged from life, it's all can spontaneous of our life. Thus all human beings like to appreciate such literature, and that's why all human beings are attracted towards the literature. The person who loves nature will certainly enjoy poems of Wordsworth, and that's why all nature's lovers are like the Wordsworth poem, because it's on about nature. The literature of power does not appeal only to any particular class. We have the literature of power has not a particular class, it's a upper class or lower class or middle class. It's about all human life. It appeals to all kind of people. It's for all people, as well as I tell that it's not for only high society people or low society people, it's our all people have. While studying this literature, whenever we study the literature, it is not all necessary for the readers to be scholar or expert. Sometimes we have wrong ideas in our mind that it is only for the scholar or expert, but it's your wrong ideas, because it is not for only scholar or expert, it is for all the common people. For instance, anyone can read Hardy's novel and realize the role of nature. Whenever you can read the Hardy's novel, they realize that human nature and her cruelty, that's her harshness or her mercilessly. But only students of engineering can study engineering matter. But whenever we study literature, it's for all people. But whenever we study of engineering, then it's for only the engineering people or engineering students. Thus, literature of power can provide various of subject of various poet, and that's why we can say that the literature of power provide us a various subject, various a topic or for all people have. Literature of power provides us aesthetic pleasure. Here here the writer conclude the gods means aesthetic pleasure or aesthetic power means adhyatmic. Aesthetic means adhyatmic. It pleases the hearts of the readers and it is the touch the reader's heart. It has a long lasting appeal and it is not only for any temporary period but it's always a demand for any time, and it transports us from this world to metaphysical world. Metaphysical means adhyatmic. So that's why here we can say that from this world to metaphysical world, and that's why we can say that the all around world is a aesthetic or metaphysical world. It has fresh appeal to all the time. Its demand to not only the contemporary time but its demand or appeal to any time. For instance, the novels of Hemingway is also a one literate writer can provide an optimist and aesthetic pleasure. Optimist means hope. Hope means ashavadi. Here the Hemingway is also provided that optimist and aesthetic pleasure. Literature of power has a deep human significance. Literature of power is a main characteristic is a deep human nature or human definition. It is born out of life. It is, I already say in a few minutes ago that the literature of power is spontaneous in our soul or our heart. We can say that literature grows out of life, and that's why we can say that literature is out of our life. It is neutrally by life and it's a grow. Neutrally means grow. It's grow by a life. Through such literature one can see life from the closer views, and that's reason we can see all our life it's see in very closer views. It also allows us to have a peep into different kinds of people. Deep peep means a show. That's why we can sometimes we show different people's negative point, positive points, all are by the literature. For instance, by the study of great works of Homer, Milton. Here if you hear the name of Homer and Milton, that in his great works we can learn it. We comes to know virtues like dedication, courage, devotion, love and sacrifice it is. In Homer's and Milton's literature have dedication means a samarpan, courage means himmat, devotion means bhakti, love, prem and sacrifice means balidan. The all parts are included in Homer's and Milton's works. Literature is the record of life. Literature is a record of life means in all during the life we can whatever we do, our deeds are all are record in literature. It describes one's experience of lives. Whenever the writer or author experience in his life, they all are experienced right in his literature or in his work. It also contains one's thought and feeling about life and one's own experience during life. I already explained the sentence that whenever any writer has any own experience in his life, that he write that experience in his literature or his work. For example, while studying modern fiction or modern drama, fiction means kalpanik. While we studying modern fiction or modern drama, one can go through the problem of the modern man. Haya Vandan by Karnad through light on the existentialism, while the guide of R.K. Narayan discuss society in different level. Here I explain in Gujarati that the sentence, one can go through the problem of the modern man હૈયાવંદન by કર્નડ. હૈયાવંદન કર્નડ દ્વારા લખાયેલી કૃતિ છે કે જેમાં લાઇટ ઓન ધ એક્ઝિસ્ટનલિઝમ એટલે કે અસ્તિત્વવાદ, જે કર્નડ દ્વારા હૈયાવંદન લખેલું છે તેમાં તમને અસ્તિત્વવાદ જોવા મળે છે. જ્યારે while the guide of R.K. Narayan discuss society in different level. While એટલે કે જ્યારે we see the guide by written R.K. Narayan, it's discussion on our society's problem, society's view on different types. The literature of power has permanent appeal. Literature of power is a permanent, that's a very important point of literature of power. It has the external appeal to human hearts. It is a external appeal by human hearts. People enjoy Chaucer's The Clock's Step. Here Chaucer's works, The Clock's Step, is any time people whenever read or watch or see, people always enjoy it, even after 700 years, even the passes 700 years or 800 years or million years, always anytime Chaucer work, The Clock's Step, are enjoyed anytime. It means it is a anytime, not for temporary, it's for permanently. It reveals that literature of power is for all and for all ages. That's why we can say that literature of power is not for a temporary, but it is a permanent, that it is demand or appeal in all ages. Moreover, the medium of literature is language. We all know that the medium, how to express, that's expressed by a language. It expresses life through words and also express life through words. Thus, it is true to say that language plays a vital role in creating literature of power. That's why we can say that in a literature of power, the main important part is language, because without language we can't write or read. We can't write, and if we can't write, then how do we read? So most important part is the word. Without word we can't write. Such literature is always beautiful. Really, the literature is always beautiful. Thus the words of Keats. Here Keats says his thought, a thing of beauty is a joy forever, is quite appropriate for literature of power. That's why here John Keats say that his own view, that a thing of beauty is joy forever. Any thing or beauty is a joy forever is quite appropriate for literature of power. So dear student, here I try to conversation with a fluently English. If you have any question, that's I'll repeat this in English to Gujarati. So your opinion is most necessary for me. Thank you.